This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Joining us today is Cedric Simonet, the CEO of Altona Rare Earths, following news this morning that the company have announced its acquisition of Flebs Doge Mining Zambia Limited, which holds a large-scale copper exploration license in Zambia. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Cedric, how are things?
Good morning, Mark. Things are quite all right today. Thank you.
Good. Well, it's good to see this bit of news this morning. I know this is something that we've discussed over the last sort of year or so. This is the company wants to diversify, but you've obviously managed to get something away. So can you tell us a little bit about this project there? It's in the Mufumbe district of the northwestern province of Zambia. So what do you like about it? Why have you decided to go ahead with this one?
All right. So as we discussed just a few weeks ago, Altona has taken the decision to expand and diversify its portfolio. We want to get involved into different commodities in different jurisdictions. Monte Muambe continues to be our flagship project, and we are still giving it a lot of attention. But we think the time is right for us right now as a project is into pre-feasibility study to look also at other assets and other commodities especially. So this copper project called Kabombo South, which is located in northwestern province of Zambia, is a copper exploration license. It is our first acquisition with this expanded strategy. Kabombo South has seen former exploration by a major, Freeport, and Freeport at some point in 2020 decided to drop all exploration projects all across the world. So this is the only reason why they dropped this project. It was a strategic corporate decision, nothing to do with the project itself. So the exploration which has been done so far includes 4,000 line kilometers of ground magnetometer survey and a very wide grid ionic leach survey. And both these surveys show anomalous result on the same spot, which is in the northeastern corner of the license. There is a copper gold anomaly given by the geochemical survey, and which is superimposed to a demagnetized zone, which is visible on the magnetometer survey. So geologically speaking, it's grassroots, but it's very, very interesting. The next step involved reprocessing the magnetometer survey data and doing infield geochemical sampling, ionic leach sampling. So it's relatively low budget exploration just to get to the next step, and it's perfectly suitable for us.
Good. So you mentioned there, of course, about the previous owner. I'm glad you explained why they dropped it, not because of the project, just a corporate decision not to operate in Zambia. The historic work there has highlighted that presence of the copper, gold, silver anomaly, and you've talked there about the different work that was done and what you're going to do with reprocessing the magnetometer survey data. I mean, what would you want to come out with? What's the sort of end objective, having going through this reanalyzing of that data there? You say you want to actually have some defined drill targets by the end of the year.
That is correct. So the first step, the first objective for us is to define drilling targets. This is going to be done through reprocessing the magnetic survey data, but also through infield ionic leach survey. We are going to do an ionic leach survey with a smaller distance between the sampling points, so that we are able to narrow down the shape and the position of the anomalies, and then we will be able to decide where we are going to drill.
Right. So it's narrowing down the shape to find those drill targets, and you'd want to be drilling at the end of this year, ideally, would you?
If the drilling targets are defined at the end of the year, it will take still a few months before we can start drilling, because we would get into the rain season and it will not be possible to drill at that time. So I'm expecting that drilling would happen during the second quarter of next year.
Right. Okay. But ready to drill effectively, by the end of this year. Okay. Good. One thing I picked up from the RNS, which was very interesting, was that, of course, the initial consideration there of 40,000 to be satisfied by the immediate issue of 800,000 ordinary shares in Altona, but at a price of 5p, so nearly 5 times the current market, the current share price. I find that very interesting. What could you shed any light on this?
Yeah, of course. Look, we strongly believe that Altona is currently very much undervalued. The actions we are taking are directed towards unlocking the value in Altona, not only for Monte Muambe, but also for the expanded strategy. And very clearly, we are not the only ones to believe that Altona's value is actually much higher, because the party with which we signed off the exclusivity on this deal was very much prepared to take Altona shares at 5p.
Well, that must be a huge sort of. I personally, I think that's a great. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That must be a great validation that other parties there in the know see value or massive undervalue in Altona.
Yeah, it is. It is a very important validation for us. It comforts us that we are doing the right thing, that Altona has a lot of intrinsic value, and we are going to continue this strategy.
Okay. I mean, what do you think the company can do to perhaps convince the wider market of the value there? Of course, I know the Monte Muambe is the flagship project that's currently going. You're waiting on the metallurgical results, aren't you? Then there's going to be some further drilling moving into. It was the PFS, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then are you thinking of having other projects as well? I mean, you mentioned about changing the strategy here, and this is the first step. Does that suggest that as well as Monte Muambe, this new project today, there'll be some more down the pipe?
Yes, we want to acquire a few, not many. We are not trying to fill a basket with projects, not at all. We are trying to bring into the company a few very carefully selected, and I've been working on it for several months, projects in commodities that have been carefully chosen. We've chosen copper because copper is a commodity which price has got a very good stability. Can go up and down, but it's relatively stable. It's a commodity which has a very, very well-established market for hundreds of years. It's not the same sort of dynamic for the commodity as for neodymium and praseodymium, which is a completely new market. So we are trying to blend these different commodities which have different dynamics. So we want to acquire a few very well-selected more projects while we are continuing with Monte Muambe. So Monte Muambe is at the PFS level. One thing which is important to understand with Monte Muambe is that we've seen a lot of interest from Western governments, from the US government in particular, on Monte Muambe. And we've had recently several meetings with several different US agencies, US government agencies about Monte Muambe. But one thing that we can see is that the support of Western governments tend to come more at the DFS level, definitive feasibility study or bankable feasibility study, not at the PFS level. So we still need to fund Monte Muambe through the PFS level. And we want to do this in a very creative way so that it does not impact the other projects. And what we are doing at the moment is that we are talking to potential strategic investors. That would enable us to secure PFS funding for Monte Muambe without having to go to the markets for that. And that would enable us to focus the rest of our activities on the new projects.
Right. Okay. So you'd be looking to get that strategic investors rather than go to the market and then focus your efforts on the new project.
That is correct.
Okay. And how are the sort of discussions going with the strategic investors?
We are seeing a lot of interest again, and I cannot say much more now. I'm hoping to be able to say more within the weeks or months which are coming, but we are making very good progress and we are seeing a lot of interest.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, it sounds like there's more news to come clearly on the strategic investors for Monte Muambe, plus, of course, the ongoing work that's going on. Plus, of course, you can get started now on this new copper project. Plus, potential other projects? Are you hoping to make an announcement fairly soon? Are you sticking to copper?
We are, as we've mentioned previously, we are looking mainly at 3 different commodities: copper, lithium, and niobium. Lithium is also a new type of commodity, a little bit the same as rare earths, but we expect that lithium is going to pick up quite fast. And being in the low at the moment, it's a perfect time to look for new projects.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Cedric Simonet, the CEO of Altona Rare Earths.
Thank you, Mark.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.